promised a couple people at the end of last year that I would upload a video about, I showed snippets of making lippies for one of my ambassadors at Naturally Shae on Instagram. Follow her if you're not. And one of my BFFs, Miss Keita68 on Instagram, because Keita wanted a silver lippy, and Shae was looking for a nude to do some ombre lippy techniques. So I made both of those, but I did it in clips, and I got a lot of inboxes and DMs from people asking why didn't I show all of the video. So I'm going to do a quick generic lippy recipe for you. This is a recipe you'd use if you were making lippies for yourself. If you were going to sell lippies, I would advise you to use a preservative, and I would advise you to make sure that you're following all of the FDA guidelines. Okay, but if you're just making it for yourself, you really don't need a preservative. This is an oil-based formula, and as long as you use a long shelf life oil, which I always do, and all natural products, you don't really have to worry about mold or yeast or any of that thing growing. You really have to be concerned with that whenever you add water to your mixture, because water carries a lot of natural bacteria. Some of it's good bacteria, some of it's bad bacteria, but you do have to add a different preservative than you would an oil preservative. TKB is a great place to get a preservative from. There's a Cap 2 and a Cap 5. Cap 2 is for oil, Cap 5 is for water formulations. But I'm not using a preservative in this because this is just an oil-based formula and a very simpler formula. But if you are trying to sell it, I would look at adding a preservative to the life of your lippies, okay? So in this base, I have 1 teaspoon of shea butter. You can see that there. And 1 teaspoon of olive oil. This is a very, very easy formula. And you want to make sure you have 2.5 part oil, 1 part wax. Okay, that is a very simple formula. 2.5 formula oil, 1 part wax. Okay, and so I already got 2 parts oils in here, which is the shea butter, spoon of that, and then I got a spoon of the olive oil. And olive oil is a very, very long shelf life oil, and I'm adding the shea butter for richness. It's a moisturizer. It feels good on your lip, and it's a hard butter, so it'll help to solidify the the lipstick as well. If I were making a gloss, I would not use shea butter because I would want it to be a looser formulation. Okay, I'm also going to add a little vitamin E. You can get vitamin E anywhere. At the grocery store, you can get it. You can order it online. This vitamin E is a mixture. Like most of the things I do, it's a mixture. This vitamin E has a wee bit of tea tree oil in it and a wee bit of rosemary, because those are healing agents, and they're also great for your skin as well. So my vitamin E oil is infused, and I'm going to put a half a teaspoon of this, and I'm only going to eyeball it. You know what? I'm going to do the right thing while I'm taping, and I'm going to use the measuring spoon. I usually never use the measuring spoon. I've been doing this so long I can eyeball it, and I know all these measurements by heart. So here's a half a teaspoon of that. And because a little bit always sticks to the bottom of the spoon, I like to just add a little bit for good measure. Okay, now that is vitamin E oil with a little bit of tea tree oil and a little bit of rosemary. Okay, so we have our oil mix. Now I am going to add, this is Candelilla wax, which is a vegan product. So this is a vegan lippy. Now I'm going to add the 1 part of this, which is a teaspoon, a full teaspoon of the Candelilla wax. And I'm going to get a heaping teaspoon. And before someone asks, I am going to tell you where I got these cool little jars from. I got these cool little jars from a craft store and Michael's, and they just sit like that, like little old-fashioned candies. I have all of my colored micas in here. I literally have like probably 100 of these, and I keep my waxes in them. I have several waxes, and all of my micas in a rainbow effect of from warm to cool to nudes. But they're just great because you can tilt them this way or you can set them up. And that's where I got them. They're very inexpensive. I usually buy them when they have buy one, get one free. So I usually get them at a very, very good price. But try your local craft store. I'm pretty sure you can find something similar, if not the same ones. Okay, so I have my formulation, which is 2.5 oil mix, 1 part, 2.5 part oil, 1 part wax. I'm going to nuke this in the microwave at burst of 10, no more than 10. And the reason I say no more than 10 because you want it to slightly melt down and you want to get it out right away. You don't want it to overheat. You don't want it to overheat because you're going to burn away the good properties in all of the olive oil, the Candelilla wax, the Shae Butter, and we need those properties to help moisturize your lip and make this a really beautiful lippy. So I'm going to nuke this and come back. Okay, while my wax and oil is mellowing out, I'm going to show you what I'm using here for my lippies. Now I'm going to put these in regular, like just lip balm tubes, because I'm going to use this as a GWPA gift with purchase. So I'm going to be giving these away. I'm not going to use but only 2 professional lipstick tubes of mine. And I am going to more than likely put that in this 2-tube lippy. I also have my 6-tube lippy. I have a lot of these. I have like 3 of them that are 12 count molds, and I also have one that is a 36 count mold when I'm making a lot of lippies or a lot of colors, or one color that I want to turn out in a lot. So I just have to oil this really lightly. Okay, there's just a Q-tip with a little bit of oil on it. And I'm oiling both sides lightly. And inside of the top cap. And that's it. And then you just put this little guy together. Like so. Okay. And you put the screw in there. And it's ready for pouring. Okay. That smells so good. Because I remember I told you that vitamin, that's what I'm using, the vitamin E, just to coat these. I'm going to leave that right there. So when I'm ready to pour, everything's right where it is. Make sure you put this in. A couple times I did this. Forgot to put this on, and I had little bitty nub lippies. I still, I had to end up making those freebies for someone because they were so little. And I'm going to take that Q-tip because it's still nicely oiled. And I'm going to go through all of these. And I'm only going to do like maybe 3. Okay, 4. Just in case, sometimes when it's melted down, it should make about 6 lippies. But these guys are really small. They're not as deep as these guys. So I may get like 1 or 2 more. So I might have to bounce to that guy. I'm going to leave that there. Okay? So I'm going to get the wax out and we will fill these guys. Okay, so we're back with my oil fully melted. Wax is fully melted. And I'm going to stir with this. When I first started making lipsticks about 2 years ago, I would use these. I bought these from Making Cosmetics. And they're cool because you can get a lot of cool doodads like this. This kind of stuff is really hard to find. But it's also very expensive. So I stopped using these. And then they stain really bad. And I hate when they stain. I've had to toss quite a bit. So I stopped using these. I just use these to like scoop, my butters and so forth when I'm making lippies. But I bought these. Like these are just little skewers. That, little wooden skewers you make, meats, put your meats and cheeses on, off the grill. And I like these because they stir well, they're nice and long, they're real thick and sturdy, and guess what, when I'm done, I can just toss it, there's no cleanup. So, invest in some of these, they're not really expensive, you can get like probably $54 at the dollar store, but they're really good to have. Okay, so I am going to make this a real simple color because this is just a GWP. I am going to put half a teaspoon of this pink red. Now I made this mica. I mixed 3 different micas to get this, and I call this Maryland Pink. And as you can see, that was a nice full teaspoon. Now this is going to be pretty sheer because it's typically a very, very sheer powder. To get a lot of depth out of this, I would have to add like probably some reds, some blues, and to make it a little more deeper punch of color. But I want to go for just a really light pink, nice summer pink gloss. And I'm going to stir this with my little skewer. And that makes a real pretty, look at that, real pretty pink. Real pretty pink. Stir it really, really good. Now one thing about micas When you're using a real, genuine mineral mica powder, it mixes exceptionally well. This is already fully mixed. I'm just stirring it to get all that pretty pearlescent going, but it's already fully mixed. And you can tell it's fully mixed when you hold your glass like this and it's clean. You don't see any particles, no powder, no nothing. It's clean. You see how clean that is? That's how you know you got a really good non-synthetic mica. When it is synthetic, you'll see little particles of oxides or some other kind of man-made dye at the bottom of it. But when it's a genuine mica, it just melts down like that, and it actually cleans itself. There is no particle. It's clean as a whistle. Now, I just want to show you how pretty that is. I'm going to drop a little bit on the back of my hand. Get a little bit first, okay? Now, this is also a great way to test the firmness of the wax. I just let it sit there let it marinate for a couple minutes while this is stirring. Now, I'm going to use one of my homemade concoctions. This is sweet almond oil with a little bit of orange essential oil. So I always put just a couple drops of that in there, not too much. If you put more than that, then it's going to taste like perfume. And nobody wants a lippie that tastes like a perfume. That smells good. That smells like an almond cookie. Oh, that smells good. Okay, so while that's kind of like melted, and now you see that's nice and firm. Now I'm going to just go down here like this. Look at that. Nice and firm. Now this is going to be a balm, and I told you it's going to be sheer. So it's going to be just a little sheer pink just for the summer. See how pretty that is? Nice glisten to it. This would be great for a kid if you just want to put something on. Nice summer off the beach. You don't want a whole lot of color, working out, but you just want your lips moisturized. This will be perfect for that. So I am going to pour this in my tubes here. These are great because they got the little beak spout, and they make it easy pouring in things in very small tubes. I'm not going to fill these all the way because I want to put one in that metal tube and let you see what that looks like. Okay, that one did get full all the way. Now, let's use my little two-piece guy. I'll leave them flat. Now, I still have a little bit in there. I'm going to just level these guys out. Still a bit left. It's okay if it runs over. It's only wax, okay? You can clean it up as it goes. I really hate wasting all that, though. And here's cleanup made easy. I like things simple, so I keep these here. This is my godsend. I drop this in here like this. I don't let it sit. And see, two of them. People might say that's wasteful. I'm going to get 3 of them. I'll throw that one on the inside. It just helps hold it a little easier. Now, I do this to get the wax out. I then, after this, run this in the best thing that I can use to get oils out. I even use it for my soap containers when I'm making soap, and that is Dawn dish detergent. I love that stuff because it cuts grease like nobody's business. Great for your dishes too. So these are Bleach disinfected towelettes. So it kind of gets all of that. They're not chemicals, but it gets all of the product, all of the oil, all of the, essential oil out of there. The wax is out of it. Look how clean that is. Now I'm going to put this in some nice soapy Dawn and hot water, and then I take them out of that, put them on a drying rack, and I'm done, and I'm ready to make product all over again. But these guys just have to sit, and it does not take this long to set up. These guys got to sit like for maybe 20 minutes. Now my place is pretty warm, so I'm going to let these sit a little longer. I have the heat on like 78 because it's a really chilly day in Chicago. So I have the heat on 78, and I'm going to let these guys sit for a little bit, and then we'll come back and I'll untube these guys and show you how to get these guys into a lipstick tube. These guys are easy. You just wipe off the excess overspill because I really filled them to the top. I'll show you how to clean off the top. Just scrape it off with a flat surface card or anything, and then you just put the cap on those because it's like chapstick. But these guys have to be tubed in a Lippie, and I will show you how to do that next. Okay, we're back, and as these have solidified, I usually just wipe them off with a little bleach toilet wipey here. See how that just wipes off clean as a whistle? Now you have to switch these out because they get a little tattered. I go through a lot of these bleach wipes because I like having stuff really, really sterilized. Suppose that you could buy a generic brand. I mean, I just feel like, why bother? Okay, I like to clean up as I go as well because I hate a mess at the end. Garbage is nearby. Now the top of this guy, those guys are ready. Well, let me clean off this before I even get to the metal guy. That guy's already flat. I'm just going to take this and flatten it out even more. I'm just going to run across it really flat. Just like that. And that's how you get a nice, smooth, flat surface. Now it always has that little hole there. So always go back through that and put it on there like that so it covers that hole. And that's just where the little pole inside there keeps it turning. You gotta have like a little round pole in there to keep it turning. And that's nice and smooth. And I'm gonna come back here. Another one of these. Wipe off the rim. Not the top where the lippy is, just the bottom. And it's nice and smooth. Excess goes on there. And then smat it out again. See? Nice and smooth. Look at that. Looks brand new. Now you just keep doing that for the rest of them. Nice and flat. Flatten out that little hole that was missing. Excess on the toilet. Nice and smooth. I am currently in the process of looking for a shop, a bigger workshop. So I've been touring all of Chicago, really just trying to see where do I want to go to have a bigger shop. And I'm looking for a small boutique area up front of the shop that I can build up front. And I need a lot of workspace because I have acquired quite a bit of inventory, and because of the growth of my business and the growth of the cosmetic business has expanded so great that I need more space to work now, and soaping takes up so much space as well. So okay, those guys are done. Look at that, how just perfectly done. Okay, just got to clean it off and make sure that there's no leftover residue, and they're good to go. You can sell these guys now. Okay, I'm gonna let those air out a little bit more. Now this guy here, you have to do this with all of your metal. You always have a little excess on the top, and that's fine. You can scrape that off. Now this is very firm. Candelilla wax is a very, very hard wax. I do use beeswax from time to time. It's a little softer wax. As you can see, you got that little piece right there. You got to take this little top part guy off. Then get your Lippie tube. Just put your Lippie tube on the bottom, like that. Lift. And voila. You have a beautiful tube of lipstick. Beautiful. Now, when you're making these, you'll notice some of the brands that you buy, they don't have that really sharp edge like this one. That's because they take like a little heating. Usually they're on a, if it's a really big company, they're on like a little conveyor belt, and a little heat comes over and softens this up, and the edge goes away. I personally like the edge. I think it looks crisp and new. The only time I would do that is if sometimes when they fail to launch, and there may be just a little bit left in the mold, this metal mold here, stainless steel mold. I mean, it's really, look at that, it's very easy. Once you put a little oil in there, they come out very easy. And this is very firm. Keep in mind, this is one with my initials on it. So this is going to be a really light, sheer, pinky gloss. Okay, not a whole lot of color, but I just want really something nice and pretty and shimmery. I don't know if you can see that, or if it's too much light. Oh, you can see that. There you go. There you go. Okay. Look at that. Now that oil on there from the tube is going to dry off. Now you sometimes get a little bit on the bottom. I usually take these little wipes here on my finger and just get that little excess off. And I tap it a little bit too. Okay? And it goes down just a little. And when you roll it down, it should be below that line. I tap it till it gets below the line. And that's only because sometimes if you're using a tube whose cap is flat, sometimes you can ruin the top of your lipstick. Now mine are not like that, because mine has like this little bit of a lip on it, so they don't always go all the way down, and they only go down that far, so you have a little bit of cushion up there, so mine never really touch the top, my Lippie tubes. And that's it. These guys are ready to sell. And then these guys, I'm just going to put the top on them. I'm not going to sell those. I'm going to use all of these as GWPs. I just wanted you to see what tubing a lipstick would look like, and it would be the same for anything else. All of my other Lippies. Again, this is a really firm formula. This is not my Lippie formula. This was just a really easy formula for you to use. Now keep in mind, if you use a different wax, you're going to get a slightly different result. Candelilla wax is a very hard and firm wax. It's great for candles. But if you wanted a softer Lippie or softer formulation of this, I would, use like probably beeswax. It's a softer wax. If you're vegan and you're going for vegan, there's a lot of other wax. There are even like vegetable-based waxes that you could use as well, which are very, very soft. I go in between the beeswax and the Candelilla wax. Sometimes it's a mix. I also sometimes use, when I'm adding in my, when I'm making my Lippies and I'm adding in the preservative, the cap too, I usually use an emulsifying wax. That's also a very soft wax, and it just helps to meld everything together. Really use the emulsifying wax when I'm making my matte lipsticks, which is brand new, that has not launched. They launched for my anniversary sale in March, and it is a lipstick. I do not have a matte lipstick. I have matte butters, and I have matte liquids. I do not have a matte lipstick, so I'm really excited to get that guy going, and I'm testing that. And I have a lot of friends and family to help me test my formulations to make sure that they're spot on and ready for you. So I hope you enjoy that little quick snippet of how to do. This is basically clean. You just take all this undone. Cleaning these guys are a breeze. Before I started making Lippies, I heard someone say that it was a nightmare, and it really isn't, because they wipe. Look at that. It's already clean. You just wipe it down pretty easy. If you use these disinfectants, they are so great because they not only clean the surface, but they also kill any bacteria or anything that may be on there, and they get them spick and span. Now, I like to treat these kind of like you do an iron skillet. I never, ever, ever immerse these in water. I always only clean them with this, and then I come back and I re-oil them every time I get ready to use them. And when I clean them with this, it's kind of like a little bit of the oil left behind. Again, I only use long shelf life oils, and look how clean that is. I mean, it's like brand new. And again, I never immerse these into water. I never put any harsh astringents on them. I don't really want that on my lipsticks anyways. I don't put any harsh astringents on them. And I really just wipe them, get them a real thorough clean with this bleach wipe. And bleach kills 99%. Bleach is really the only thing that kills AIDS. Unfortunately, you can't drink it, but it is the only thing that really topically kills the AIDS virus. And you can Google that. Everything I say is on Google. You can research. You can find out all of these answers, everything I'm saying. You can also find it there. I want people to, I don't want anybody in my comments saying something that, going to irritate me or you, because I will clap back. Okay, I mean, look, that's it. The cleanup is like 1, 2, 3 done. It's really, really easy to clean these guys. I mean, it's just as easy to clean. I didn't get to use that because I had enough wax. It only made 5. That's great. And you never really know what you're going to get with those things. Depends on how the waxes melt. And I was just eyeballing some of those. The first 2 spoons, I just eyeballed it. I didn't really measure it. So I didn't know if it was going to make 6 or 7 or 8, and you never really know when you're eyeballing. So I always be prepared with an extra mold or something so I can, go over there, because you don't want to have that wax and you don't have a ready mold to help fill the overscoop, because then it'll harden on you. Then you got to melt it again. You kill the properties of the vitamins and the nutrients in all the butters and the oils, and that's just no good. So that's basically it. It's done. This guy is ready for another load, and that's it. Voila, cleanup is done. Those guys are ready. They're ready to be put my little labels on the bottom and call it a day. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you try this. I hope you have some fun making some lippies at home. You can find the mica powders at your craft store as well. They sell little small packets of it. If you're doing this for business, I strongly advise you to buy it from a wholesaler so you can buy it in bulk and get a much better price so that you can sell it at a better discount to your customers and make a better profit, because you're going to end up paying a lot of money when you buy the little small packs from the craft store. If you're just making a little small stuff for you and friends, that's more than appropriate. But if you're going into the business for it, I strongly advise you to do your research and look for some wholesale places to sell micas. Okay, hope you enjoyed this. I did. Take care now. Bye-bye.